And so I challenge audiences all the time. Some of you that came to my leadership workshop earlier today, how much do you think it cost in education, buildings? I mean, you look at CCU's campus. I've watched it for years. It go from this, and now it looks like flipping steroid. I mean, it's unbelievable. I love it. I love a growth strategy. And how much you think it cost him and the faculty to get into the hearts and minds of an entering freshman that has maybe something like that going on in their background? When I speak to business groups, how much do you think it costs a social worker or somebody to touch the heart and the mind of a child who wasn't even worthy on the day Christ was born, if that's your religion? How do you make that child care about Shakespeare or math or English? How do you even have a prayer in here of that child being on the board of a not-for-profit and helping you serve or serving their community when they can barely get out of beds themselves? More importantly, what if that child marries your son, bankrupts him, cheats on him because they're broken, or marries your daughter and beats her? Hope. You know how many? A lot of work, a lot of staying with it to take a person who's given up on everything, who's given up all hope, and convince them otherwise. Which to me is the main thing. When we go into Fortune 500 corporate retreats, it's always fascinating. They'll call Blackfish in because we're known for our leadership boot camps. And we always get in there and give the hard-hitting stuff. We've done some Walmarts and banks and all that. We always go in and we U-turn it to what is your real purpose on this planet? What are you here to do? Like my son wants to play in the NFL. I said, son, why do you want to play in the NFL? He said, I want to buy you a pink Hummer. Now, you've only known me today. Would you buy me a pink? How much time does it take? You've got everything possibly in front of you that you can do to take somebody and change their lives. So when I get asked all the time, what's a Blackfish and why do you do this and what are the leadership principles, I put a sheet on your table and it explains kind of what we believe. We believe that Blackfish are inspiring and stewards and effective problem solvers. That's what I learned from the whole thing. That's kind of the three things. But I'll tell you the most incredible lesson I learned is those traits of effective leaders, inspiring, stewards, and effective problem solvers. And you guys that were in the class earlier today, and I'm looking at y'all do this, you learned when we go up to New England and we ask the kids from Harvard, when I teach there, name me the leaders that are effective, problem solvers, stewards, and inspiring. In the top 6 names, they say Osama bin Laden.
See,
and that
exactly
shocks
right.
y'all, because you fooled yourself to think that the abilities that are used to cast evil are different somehow than those that were to cast good. He just got ahead of us. He's inspiring. He's an effective communicator. He does what he says he's going to do. He stewarded human and cash resources. He solved problems pretty effectively. I'll leave you with this thought. He had an all-volunteer organization. A lot of his volunteers were illiterate, couldn't read, had no hope. He could single them out. He was a supportive coach. They didn't have any trouble finding mentors. They didn't argue and fight about what the workday schedule was, or are you going to pay for this, or how much. He took that group of all volunteers, inspired and trained them over a long period of time. He can't use an iPhone, an iMac, a Mac, a PC. He can't use a beeper, a computer. He doesn't have an SUV, a car, a home at the beach, a home here, a this or a that. He has to do it all in ways that are extremely challenging. He trains them to get into this country as a team. Learn to fly a jumbo jet on the same day at the same time and effectively hit almost all of their targets, and almost took away the most precious assets we have, freedom and democracy, economic abilities and empowerment that other countries only dream of. And I train boards and staffs and leaders every day that can't figure out how to get a team together to help a teacher do a bake sale to get enough money to provide a fair and equitable education for children all over the United States of America. And y'all got iPhones, me, that. I don't even know what the you got coming next. You can call up, I don't know who right now. Nobody's watching you or going to swarm down on you, shoot you, or assassinate you. You've got everything going for you. And even if you don't, even if you are impoverished, or like me, coming out of a terrible tragedy, or like Mercedes, what you don't know is after that rape, I ended up living in almost 40 different homes. It destroyed my house, destroyed my mother and father. My parents were executives with Westinghouse. Nobody trained them to get ready for a man rape their child and almost kill her. It just killed our home. I had to live in what we now call foster care. So even if you've been beat down and somebody's told you you can't, and you've messed up too many times, and you didn't make the right choice of college, or worse, you got this, or you got divorced, or you had a baby, I've heard it all. That's why we named it Blackfish, because I was up in Alaska working with the governor, and there's this fish up there that freezes to death and comes back to life. I thought that was impressive. So I was like, that's inspiring.